raining earlier, but it cleared up, and so I could come outside and hang out with y'all. But this morning, I have someone from the community, Miss Susan. Miss Susan is one of us. Miss Susan she actually just recently had a birthday and became an official senior citizen. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Also, she is the strawberry jam expert here on the talk. She is also a professor, and she hangs out on another side of TikTok called Wig Talk, which I'm going to ask her about. I want everyone to give Miss Susan a warm welcome. If I can find my gosh darn, here we
Good
go.
morning, everybody.
Okay. Good morning. How are you today, Miss Susan?
I am good this morning. It's early here. It's 5:30. We're at 5:45 where I am.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. We do have some people in what are you in Central?
Yes,
Central time zone?
I'm not far from you. I'm in Auburn, Alabama.
Oh, okay. We do have some people over there. We have some Texans that hang out with us in the morning. But we appreciate it. I wanted to ask you about all the things though, because you wear many hats. And
I do. Literally.
You do. You wear many hats. And as a creator, as a fellow creator, I want to know, how do you balance being a creator with your lifestyle professionally and personally? How do you balance that?
Well, for me, being a creator is about entertainment. So I teach at Auburn University, and then I do some various and sundry other consulting work. I've worked as a consultant for many, many years. And so being a creator for me is a creative outlet. So it's what I do for fun to relax, so to speak, from the other things that I've got to do. So that's kind of the need it fulfills for me.
It does. Okay. And I feel that way also. I crochet. And so crocheting for me is like my Zen time. You know, for some people, it might be a little frustrating, but I've been doing it since I was like 10. And so when I'm crocheting, I may listen to some music, but like that's my time to just pour into me. So I definitely feel you with that one. Okay, now I just have to ask, what is your secret to the perfect batch of this strawberry jam that I see you making?
Well, for the strawberry jam, and you know, this is the first year, and I don't know how many that I did not make strawberry jam, because my strawberry farmer went out of business. He sold his farmland to somebody else and did not plant this year. And then mid-May is normally when I make my strawberry jam. And I taught a study abroad this year, so we left and I went and spent a month in Spain starting in mid-May.
Wow.
So I did not get to make my strawberry jam this year.
No. Okay.
But I did make 4 or 5 batches of peach jam in July.
You did. And so what's the secret? How long does it have to sit? What are we doing?
You gotta cook it enough, and you gotta know when it's gelled. I know a lot of people don't cook it enough. You gotta get it so it gets to a hard boil, and that when you stir it, it's still boiling really hard. And so I always tell people, cook it, and then when you think it's enough, cook it some more.
Got it. Okay.
And then
are we talking? Okay.
Yeah, I also put a little dish in the freezer, and then when I think I'm ready to put it in the jars, I'll dip a little bit out and put it on this dish. And then after a minute, I can run my finger through it. And if the finger streak stays, then it's gelled.
Okay.
And then it'll set and you'll have no problems.
Awesome. Thank you for the tips for the jam.
And you know it's gelled before you ever put it in the jar. So.
Oh, so it has to be gel. It's gel before you put it in a jar. And then do you
Yeah.
refrigerate it, or we just letting it sit out?
I can it in a water bath. So
Really?
yes, I put it in jars that are hot because the jam is hot. And if you don't put it in jars that are hot, it'll break the glass jars.
Okay.
So I put it in jars that are hot and then seal them and put them in a water bath canner for 10 minutes. And then it with the lids, they plink to seal because it vacuum seals them, and then they'll stay shelf stable for several years.
Really? Years?
Yes.
Okay.
The canning company guarantees the seal will hold for 18 months, but as long as that seal doesn't pop up, you're fine. And I've had jars go 2 or 3 years. That doesn't last much longer than that because we eat it, but I have had some jars last.
Okay. Next question. What brought you to the wig talk side of TikTok? How'd you end up over there?
Well, so this is part of my weight loss journey.
Okay.
So, and I think I started this about 6 months after I started on my health journey that involved losing weight. My hair has always just, we always don't like the hair we got. We always, lusting after somebody else's hair.
Right. If it's straight, we want curly. If it's curly, we want straight.
And mine was straight and fine and stick flat to my head. And, I was raised as a Southerner where the higher the hair, the closer to God. I always wanted poofy hair.
I understand. I'm a Jersey girl, big hair and big mouth.
Yes. And then, and my hair just won't do that. It just won't do that. And, one day I was on YouTube and somehow the algorithm just fed me a video about a woman who sold wigs. Okay. And I watched it thinking, oh my gosh, I would never do that. Oh, no. And then, of course, you know how the algorithm is. It'll feed you another one. It'll feed you another one.
It will.
About 3 weeks later, I was ordering a wig from this lady.
What?
I thought, well, I want, because they look really cute and I want to see. And so the wig I ordered from her, I liked, but it had so much volume, I was afraid to wear it. I was just, I was used to having hair stuck flat to my head, and it had, it had everything I wanted, but that frightened me. So I started actually with what they call a topper, where you just kind of clip it in and it just gives you a little natural volume. So I just put that in and, you just blend it into your own hairstyle, and like that, wore that for a couple of years. But then I started getting adventurous in the wigs, and now I have all colors, all lengths, all styles, and I change them up every day. I have students that tell me, we come to class just to see what your hair's going to be every day.
What?
And it's fun, and I love it, and I'm so much more confident now.
Really?
That I know, I can put on, I have a look, and I can put on a head of hair to match it. And I go out of the house feeling really confident in myself.
Wow. Okay. So now I want to ask about your journey, your GLP-1 journey.
Mm-hmm.
How long? What brought that on?
So I have been on GLP-1. I have been on Mounjaro since August 8th, 2022. So a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
And my journey had actually started before that. In June of 2021, I joined Weight Watchers. I was at my highest weight. I was at 320 pounds. I could barely walk. I couldn't walk more than a few steps without being so out of breath that, I would literally have to stop and catch my breath. And I couldn't, my knees hurt. I just physically walking was torture, just absolute torture. Physically getting myself up off the sofa was hard work. So I always had to look for chairs that were high or and strong and things like that. And I went to a wedding about a couple months before that and saw the pictures of myself. And I said, okay, we got to do something. I can't live like this. I just cannot live this way. And so I joined Weight Watchers. And for the first 6 months of Weight Watchers, I did great. I lost, the first 8 months, I lost 60 pounds. And it was going great. Yes. And then I hit a stall, the dreaded stall.
Right.
And it seemed like whatever I did, it would not move that stall.
Right.
And that went on for several months.
Really?
Yes. It was, I call it the mother of all stalls.
So I saw a video where you talk about stalls. We have a sister in here, T. She's not here today, but her stall was for 5 months. Was yours around that time? Like
it was,
you just kept going?
It was. And I'm in another one right now. I have been losing and gaining the same 3 or 4 pounds since I got back from Spain in mid-June. So I'm going on month 3 of another one. Yes.
Okay. And how are you pushing through that?
Well, this one I think is related a lot to my working out. So I'm doing strength training 3 days a week, walking daily. And I have one of those scales that will measure your body fat and things like that. And I can see I'm losing fat and gaining muscle.
Right.
So I can see my body is still doing the right things, but it's just, lose a couple pounds of fat, put on a couple pounds of muscle, the number on the scale stays the same, even though it's better for my body to do that. Right. So this one is not as mentally hard as that first one was. Okay.
Because I've been experienced, and everyone in the comments, be quiet, because they always tell me, you're not in the stall, because it'll be like 3 weeks. And I'll be like, I'm at the same weight for 3 weeks. And they're like, Lett, that is not a stall. But for me, it's just like, I'm comparing, which I know I shouldn't. I know we should not compare, but I'm comparing myself to people that started off at the same weight as me. And we've been on the journey for the same amount of time. And I'm like, I'm doing all the things. I'm walking daily. I'm doing the strength training 3 times a week. And I'm doing all the eating. But I get frustrated sometimes, Miss Susan, when it's not moving.
It's very frustrating. Yesterday I got on the scale and I thought maybe yesterday, I was feeling skinnier, I was feeling thinner.
We have those days.
And I got on the scale and it was exactly the same. And I was like, damn it, screw you. It's hard. Even when all the other good stuff that's happening, not seeing that number on the scale move it's hard up here. It really is.
It is. And so I'm just motivated to continue to keep going because, 3 weeks is not 5 months. And I'm like, literally, I don't know how I can't even imagine that happening, right? But like you said, we know all the benefits of the strength training. And I went from 5-pound dumbbells to 10-pound dumbbells. So I was like, you're lifting more, you're lifting heavier, give your body time to adjust. But up here, it's just like, let's go.
Well, I really, truly feel like if I stopped working out, I would start losing weight again. Because I really feel like for right now, the strength training, the building of the muscle, and like I say, I can see I'm losing fat, but I'm building muscle, and that's keeping the scale the same. So I know if I stopped working out, and of course I would be stopping building muscle, the number on the scale would move. And for right now, I want to build the muscle because in the long run, that's going to help me, because if you've got more muscle, you burn more calories, you burn more energy. So for maintenance and for keeping it off, that's extraordinarily important. So I'm trying to keep my eyes focused on that.
Okay. So with all the many hats that you wear, right, what is keeping you motivated and for you to prioritize your time to get up and do the strength training and do the walking?
How much better I feel. how it makes me feel strong and how much easier it is for me to move through my daily life. So working on campus, my office is in one building, classrooms are in another building, sometimes multiple buildings across campus. So that involves walking. And 3, 4, 5 years ago, going to work every day was physically draining because, I'd be in my office and my classroom building's up a hill, and I'd start up that hill and I'd walk about 10 yards and I have to stop and stop. And, by the time I got up to the classroom, I was wiped out. And now, I walk across campus. Now I intentionally park away from all of my buildings so that I can get some extra steps in.
Good for you.
As I go across campus, because I feel so much better and I have so much more energy. And that is what, I love. When I was in Spain this summer, I couldn't have done that trip 2 years ago. And when I was in Spain this summer and walking, the first 2 weeks I was there, we averaged between 17,000 steps and 20 steps a day.
What?
We walked everywhere. And I just loved it. I felt so good doing it. It felt so freeing to be moving.
To be able to do it.
Yes. Yeah. And I just want to hold on to that.
For as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Right. So I did see that you just had a birthday. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
What do you feel is next for you? You're doing the strength training. You're doing the walking. Is there anything else that you want to check off? You just went to Spain. Like, what's next for Susan?
I want to do a lot more travel. I really, really want to do a lot more travel. I am looking at another study abroad program, putting together one. The one I did this summer was one that was already put together. I was actually subbed in at the last minute. One of the faculty member who was going to go had some family issues, get ill, and she didn't feel like she could leave the country for a month. And so they came to me and said, do you want to teach these classes? And were classes I've never taught before. And I looked at them and they said, in Spain. And I said, oh, yeah. Anything in Spain.
Sign me up.
So I'm working now to put together a study abroad. It'll probably be for summer 26 before we get everything all together. But my sister-in-law and I last night booked some tickets to go to New York for my fall break in mid-October.
Awesome.
Going to New York used to be torture for me because, you got to walk around the city.
Right.
All the walking, that used to be torture for me. I'm really looking forward to it this time.
Are you guys going to see any plays?
Yeah, we're hoping to see, we want to see Hamilton on Broadway. Okay. And maybe Wicked.
Oh, yeah, I heard Wicked was really good. Okay. Tell us, on your GLP-1 journey, what a typical day of eating looks like for you.
So that kind of depends on the days I'm in classes or the days I'm not in classes. Okay. But I get up in the morning and I generally, now that school has started, I have tried to switch my workouts, my strength training, and most of my walks in the morning. So I work with my strength trainer at 7 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then after I finish with her, I generally will go up and walk for about an hour in the rec. They have a very nice walking track up there. And and then on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and now Saturdays, I try to walk around my neighborhood in the morning.
Okay. Which is what I do.
Sundays, I work with my trainer again. And so since I'm at the recreation center for that, I will walk on the track on Sundays.
Now, what made you decide that you wanted to get to the point of having a trainer instead of doing it on your own?
Well, my doctor, the doctor who prescribed my Mounjaro for me about a year ago, when I went in for my, we do a check, we do blood work, make sure everything is looking good. And he really was pleased with the weight loss, but he says, we need to get you on some strength training. We need to preserve the muscle mass. And it was Actually, I'll tell you, it was the day that the FDA approved tirzepatide for weight loss.
Really?
I remember I was in his office that morning, and we were laughing about, when do you think it's going to be? When do you think it's going to be? And he said, well, the Eli Lilly reps in my office say they're doing all this training that they have to have finished by December. So I'm thinking it's going to be in December at the end of the year, by the end of the year. But they're training fervently. And then I went out afterwards and got in the car and turned on the news. And the news was like, the FDA has just approved tirzepatide. I mean, literally right when I walked out of his office. And that was like a couple weeks before Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I told him, I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. I spend a week at my brother and sister-in-law's house for Thanksgiving. Then we come back and have final exams and what I call grading hell. And then right after that, I was going on a cruise with a friend. And then I was going to spend 2 weeks up in North Carolina for Christmas. I said, I'm going to be away a lot. So is it okay if I don't start till after the first of the year? Not because I'm waiting, for a New Year's resolution. It's just because I want to, once I started, I want to be consistent with it. He said, yeah. So when we got back in January, I went over. Auburn has they have a kinesiology school. And so a lot of their students work as personal trainers, and you can hire them.
Really?
Yes. And so I went through their process, and so now I work with a student who is pursuing her kinesiology degree. And,
wow.
And yeah, so we ended up it took about a month to get set up in that. So we ended up started about the 1st of February.
Okay. And do you feel stronger since starting that?
Much stronger. I can feel my body when I get dressed in the morning. In my stomach area, my abdomen, that has always been just so soft and squishy.
Right.
It's getting hard under there. I mean, there's still I still got a layer of squish. I still got some squish I'm working on there. But I feel, it's hard under there. I feel my muscles and my legs. I can feel the strength in them that wasn't there before.
I love that for you. I absolutely love that for you. Final question before you go. What would your advice be to someone who was just starting their Mounjaro or GLP-1 journey today? What would you want them to know?
Be patient. Stay on a dose as long as it's effective. Don't be in a rush to titrate up the scale. I only did 1 month on 2.5, and I actually was one of the people that lost a lot of weight the first month on 2.5.
Really?
I think all that pin-up stuff that I had been on that stall, and about the 4th month on my stall is when my doctor prescribed the Mounjaro for me. And I think, my body was like, let go immediately of all that stuff you've been holding on to.
It was ready.
But I was only on 2.5 for 1 month, and then I did like 2 months on 5, 3 or 4 months on 7.5. Every other dose I have done multiple months on.
Okay.
And so, and I stayed on them until I felt like, the weight loss was slowing, or maybe I was starting. I really haven't felt food noise again. But, feeling hunger is not abnormal. You shouldn't have food noise. You shouldn't be preoccupied with food all the time. And, if you've had food noise, you know that if there's, something in the pantry over here, hey, there's chocolate in the pantry. There's chocolate in the pantry. We need to eat that chocolate in the pantry. That chocolate in the pantry is getting really lonely in there. You need to go check on that chocolate in the pantry. I mean, your head just goes all the time. And, it should quiet that. But when your body needs food, it will feel hungry, and don't be afraid of that sensation. Feed your body, feed it good protein, feed it good vegetables, feed it some fiber. And, but enjoy your life as well. It's not about punishing yourself the rest of your life. So, when Thanksgiving rolls around, I am going to enjoy my Thanksgiving meal. And I am going to enjoy a slice of my pecan pie after that Thanksgiving meal. It's only one day. And that one day, You know, if you celebrate on your birthday, you enjoy Christmas or a holiday or Thanksgiving or anything like that, that one day is not going to set you back. It's if you let that stretch out into, well, I was bad yesterday, so I might as well be bad today. And then that stretches into a week, several months. That's when it hurts you. But that one day, it will never hurt you.
I'm glad that you said that, because last week I was on here and I was asking them, I was like, is anyone having anxiety about the holidays like Thanksgiving? I was having anxiety about that because I know if I cook at home, it's not just going to be the one day. I am one of those people, I wake up the next day and want it again for breakfast, right? So just because it's that good. And so I was telling them I was going to go to a friend's house or a family member's house that I knew didn't have the best cooking skills. So that way, that's a nice way to say it. Like, and I was going to go over there and eat Thanksgiving, so I didn't have the temptation at the house.
I understand. I go to my brother and sister-in-law's house, but I am the Thanksgiving chef. My sister-in-law handles Christmas. I cook Thanksgiving. Okay.
So no matter where you go, you're going to be the cook.
I'm going to be the cook, yes.
Okay.
And, you know, on Thanksgiving, every recipe I make starts with a stick of butter. Because it's Thanksgiving. It's a feast.
Right.
In my family, if you change up a recipe, woe be to you. Because you know, if you serve it once on Thanksgiving, it's a tradition, and it has to be served every Thanksgiving from then on. But every recipe starts with a stick of butter. So the nice thing is, I'm there Thursday and Friday, and then I come home on Saturday, and I leave all that food there.
Oh, okay, that's the trick.
That is helpful.
Right.
You know, but pack it up and send it home with people.
Right. I could do that. Get this food out of here. Right.
Yeah, the actual Thanksgiving meal, the turkey is perfectly fine for you.
Right.
You know, make some vegetables. Now, my oyster dressing actually has 2 sticks of butter in it. And I will have some of that on leftovers on Friday because it is good.
Right.
And I make for 7 people, I make 5 pies because everybody gets whatever pie they want. So there's tons of pies. But
so you make individual pies for people?
Yeah. In my family again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my daddy always wanted mincemeat pie. And he has been gone. This will be 7 years since he has been gone. And he was the one that ate mincemeat pie, but I still have to cook a mincemeat pie every year.
For your siblings, like they are looking forward to that.
My brother was like, Daddy always had mincemeat pie. We got to have mincemeat pie.
So I know that's right. That's awesome. I love that. I want to ask everyone, if you are not following Susan, please give her a follow. You're welcome. She has so many different creative wigs and tips and tricks for you and snacks on this journey. She has food, all of the things. Please give her a follow. I just love your content. Thank Susan. You. It is just a breath of fresh air. You know, it's just, people have a certain expectation of what a person on GLP-1 looks like, and it doesn't have a look. It looks like you, it looks like me, it looks like us getting healthy, right? And so I'm just sharing people that I follow that inspire me, and I'm sharing that with my team TMI. You are now officially a part of Team TMI. So welcome. welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it was 5:30 in the morning your time, but I thank you for taking time out of your day to come and spend some time with us. You can hang out in the chat if you like to, but I'm going to bring some of my team members up.
Would love to.
Thank you again, and I will see you soon, okay?
Don't get too wet. It's wet here too. So.
It is. It cleared up a little bit just for our interview.
Wonderful.
Thank you again. Have a great day. Thanks, Miss Susan. Okay. Let's see. Hold on.